Time for our first look at sports now. We say a very good evening to Sean Green.
Thank you, Lisa. Well, we're going to start things off with cricket. CPL style, the St. Lucia Zouks has kept their playoff hopes alive in this year's Hero CPL after scoring a 20-run win against the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots. This was at the Darren Sammy Stadium last night. Sent into bat, the Zouks made a competitive 165 for 6 in their 20 overs. For opener Andre Fletcher, he top scored with 36. Captain Darren Sammy chipped in with 30 off 19 late in the innings. Bowling for the Patriot spinner Mohamed Hafiz grabbed 3 for 22. Now, in reply, the Patriots were held to 145 for 9 thanks to the player of the match, Hardis Vullion, with 3 for 14 and Kesbrit Williams with 3 for 48. Well, the win lifts the Zouks to 4th place on 5 points. Now, this is above Jamaica Tallawahs and the Barbados Tridents. Meanwhile, the Patriots remain on 8 points, having missed a chance to go second in the table and to be guaranteed a top 4th finish. Well, former chairman of the Caribbean Regional Anti-Doping Organization, Dr. Adrian Lord, has been honored by the International Association of Athletic Federations. Just days before the start of the World Athletics Championships in Doha, the IAAF honored Dr. Lord at a special ceremony in Qatar, where he was presented with a plaque of merit from the IAAF president, Lord Sebastian Coe. Now, along with his family, Dr. Lord singled out several key persons who helped him along his path of anti-doping, including Esther Maynard of the Athletics Association of Barbados, along with Sir Austin Seeley and Steve Stout of the Barbados Olympic Association. Dr. Lord has vowed to continue to protect the rights of the clean athletes. Meanwhile, the re-elected IAAF president, Lord Coe, says that he hopes the Russian doping issue does not dominate his new 4-year tenure. The former British middle distance runner was standing unopposed and duly received 203 votes as delegates unanimously gave the Olympian a mandate through to 2023 at their Congress in Doha. Not much can be made of West Indies' performances in both the male and female department so far for 2019 in all forms of cricket. Well, CBC's Amory Burt has her say on what she thinks of the showing so far.
Where are the West Indies going wrong? We're almost to the end of 2019 and neither team is yet to impress in any format of the game. Let's start with the lesser of the two evils. The Windies women, who are fresh off a wash-off from the Australian ladies right here at home. The Windies women started the year with a bang, claiming the T20 series against Pakistan in January, and they put up a fight in the one day despite losing 2-1. It was then off to Ireland in May, and again they prevailed in the shorter format, but for some reason they just couldn't get it right in 50 overs. A few weeks later, facing England really tested their worth, and it was a wash-off in both formats, quite like what they faced only a few days ago to the Aussies. The women are currently ranked 6th in the world, and I would say in a somewhat stagnant position, not improving, yet not showing any decrease of sorts in performance. My concern is the low totals being produced, especially shown in the Aussie series. But then again, some key players were missing. No Hayley Matthews and no Deandra Dottin, and we struggled horribly. But should it be that way? Why do we continue to let our regional sides depend on a handful of players to carry the team, when all 11 players on the team should show their worth? It's also sad when the reserve players, especially on the women's side, clearly lack the experience and skill to compete at the highest level. From the men's end, where do I start? It's just constantly going downhill. No change of leadership, no change of coaching. None of the changes have resulted in positive results on the field. I'm not going to start my review of the false hope that fans were given earlier in the year when we looked the part against England, but then came that wretched World Cup campaign, and most recently battled with the demolishing at the hands of the Indians. What do we do? Where do we start to rebuild? Or do we need to take a break, revamp, and go again? My guess at this stage is as good as yours. If I were to offer advice, to build back a world-class team again is not going to be that easy. But pinpointing batting and accurate bowling at the starting point of regional cricket is maybe where we need to start. It is clear that the standard of our regional tournaments are far below international standards, so our players probably need to play much more first-class cricket at home and abroad before competing at the highest level. That method has worked well in recent times, especially for the Australians and Indians. But while collectively as teams we are failing, the irony is that our players are holding their own among the world's best individually. Lady skipper Stephanie Taylor leads from the front. She's the third-ranked world player in T20s, the same position she sits in the all-rounder ranks in ODIs. Taylor is undoubtedly the backbone of the team, with Deandra Doughton and Hayley Matthews in starring roles with the bat. These are the women we look to. Like Taylor, Jason Holder is, or better yet I should say, was a skipper that led from the front. He still remains a top all-rounder despite being unable to guide his team on the victory path. Our players are individual successes, but collective failures. So what is left for the rest of the year? Well, the men face Afghanistan in November before again facing India in December, while the women have a bit more time to regroup with the next tour scheduled for March of next year. So will the West Indies progress, or will they continue on this path of regression? Anne-Marie Burke, CBC Sports.